Alcohol doesn't sell because it tastes good. It sells because it feels like truth. Because every sip, every slogan, every glossy bottle is designed to tell your brain one story: that alcohol is life, pleasure, freedom, connection. What if none of that was real? What if the entire world of alcohol marketing was built not to entertain you, but to engineer you? What if the brand you trust most knows more about your psychology than you do? This is the dark side of alcohol branding. Not the ads you see, but the invisible techniques buried inside them, shaping identity, memory, and emotion so deeply that by the time you realize what's happening, the trap's already closed. Every alcohol ad looks the same: warm light, laughter, friends, celebration. Nobody drinks alone, nobody gets hurt, nobody regrets it. It's not storytelling, it's conditioning. The people behind these ads aren't just marketers, they're behavioral engineers. They work with psychologists, neuroscientists, data scientists. Their goal isn't to sell a product, it's to sell a belief that alcohol makes life better. And without it, you're missing something essential. And it starts young. Long before you ever drink, your brain is already being primed. Colorful bottles that look like soda, festivals, sports teams, and TV shows soaked in beer logos. Everywhere you look, the message repeats: drinking isn't dangerous. It's normal. It's adulthood. That's called familiarity priming. Show someone the same symbol enough times, and their brain starts trusting it, even when it's harmful. It's the same technique used in propaganda, only now it's wrapped in neon colors and served with a smile. The illusion of freedom. Alcohol companies don't talk about dependence. They talk about choice. Drink responsibly. Know your limits. It's up to you. On the surface, it sounds noble, empowering even. But psychologists call this moral licensing. When you tell someone they're in control, they drink more because they believe they're being responsible. It's genius. Make you feel virtuous for doing the very thing that hurts you. The word freedom appears in alcohol campaigns more than almost any other consumer category, because if they can link alcohol to autonomy, you'll defend it, even when it's destroying you. You'll say things like, "I don't have a problem," or "I drink by choice," because in your mind, quitting wouldn't just mean giving up alcohol. It would mean giving up freedom itself. That's how deep the illusion runs. Here's what most people don't understand. You don't choose your favorite brand. Your brain does. Alcohol companies map out neural associations, emotional triggers tied to color, sound, and memory. They know which hues signal trust, which fonts activate nostalgia, which rhythms make your heartbeat sync to the ad's pacing. You think you're watching a beer commercial. But your limbic system, the part of your brain that processes emotion, is being programmed. The result? The next time you feel stressed or lonely or celebratory, that brand flashes in your mind automatically. Not because you like it, because you've been trained to. This is affective conditioning, one of the oldest and most powerful forms of behavioral design. And the alcohol industry has perfected it. They've turned psychology into profit, billions of dollars of it. And the more you drink, the more data they collect, the more precise the manipulation becomes. That's not marketing. That's surveillance disguised as lifestyle. But who do they really target? Not everyone equally. Research shows that 20% of drinkers consume more than half of all alcohol sold. Those are the super consumers, the ones who drink daily, the ones who can't stop. In other words, the addicted. That means the industry's biggest profits come from the people suffering most. Every campaign, every limited edition, every celebration of life message is built to keep that minority drinking forever. It's a business model built on dependence, an economy powered by relapse. And if that sounds too dark to be true, look at their playbook. When cigarette companies were banned from TV, the alcohol industry studied them. They learned how to shift messaging away from product toward identity. Don't sell the liquid. Sell the lifestyle. Don't push intoxication. Push belonging. That's how you turn addiction into aspiration. The feminine rebrand. When beer ads stopped working on men, they didn't panic. They pivoted. They created an entirely new market: women. The formula was simple. blend feminism with fantasy. Slogans like, "You deserve it," "Wine o'clock," "Strong women drink cocktails." They turned alcohol into self-care. A glass of empowerment, a liquid reward for surviving the day. Here's the sick part. The same brands selling confidence in a bottle also sponsor breast cancer awareness campaigns, even though alcohol increases the risk of breast cancer. That's called cause marketing, when companies align with good causes to hide harmful ones. It's not coincidence, it's strategy, and it works because it blurs moral lines. You can't hate something that's fighting for a cure, right? That's the genius and the depravity of alcohol branding. It doesn't need to win your logic. It only needs to confuse your conscience. The digital manipulation. In the past, alcohol ads were everywhere. Now they're invisible. Today's campaigns are powered by data. Your habits, your emotions, your scrolling patterns. Algorithms track what time you open Instagram, how long you pause on a video of someone laughing with a drink, and how your heart rate spikes during certain music. Then they target you with ads designed to hit your subconscious at its weakest moment. You won't even notice them, because the ad might not look like an ad anymore. It could be your favorite influencer, your favorite playlist, and your favorite meme. That's called dark advertising, customized manipulation that no one else can see and no regulator can track. It's not mass marketing anymore. It's psychological micro-targeting, and it's turning millions of people into quiet, data-driven customers, each one nudged subtly, perfectly, toward the next drink. The politics of addiction. When governments try to fight back with labels, taxes, or restrictions, the industry doesn't argue the science, it rewrites it. They fund studies showing moderate drinking might be good for your heart. They donate to charities, sponsor sporting events, fund responsible drinking foundations. They buy credibility. It's the same playbook Big Tobacco used before its fall, only this time it's wrapped in social virtue. They'll say they care about health. They'll talk about balance. But behind closed doors, their lobbying dollars shape policy, delay warnings, and silence critics. And while regulators debate guidelines, 3 million people die every year from alcohol-related causes. It's not just addiction anymore. It's a system, a global machinery designed to keep alcohol woven into culture, economy, and emotion so tightly that removing it feels impossible. The culture of normalization. Here's the part that makes it so insidious. You don't even need to see an ad to be influenced by one, because the culture has already internalized the message. Movies, music, memes. Alcohol has become shorthand for everything human. Celebration, comfort, pain, joy. The exhausted parent needing wine. The lonely man rewarding himself. The group of friends bonding over beers. It's all the same script, repeated until it becomes truth. And that truth becomes self-sustaining. We don't just buy alcohol because of ads. We advertise it to each other every time we post, toast, or joke about needing it. The industry doesn't even have to do the work anymore. We do it for them. That's the final stage of psychological capture, when the system becomes invisible, when dependency is disguised as culture, when control feels like choice. The invisible war. Every brand you see on the shelf isn't competing for your money. It's competing for your mind. That's why their designs look so different but feel the same. Minimalist bottles for the elite, bright cans for the young, classic labels for the nostalgic. It's segmentation psychology. Different aesthetics, same emotional trigger. You belong here. And the longer they can keep you believing that, the longer they can sell you the illusion of comfort while quietly profiting from your pain. You don't have to be an addict for them to win. You just have to be unaware, because awareness breaks the spell. And the one thing they can't afford is a population that sees the mechanism, the unseen damage. The greatest victory of alcohol branding isn't how much it sells, it's how little it's questioned. Because as long as people think alcohol is just a part of life, the system survives. But if you strip away the imagery, if you remove the models, the slogans, the filters, what's left is one of the deadliest substances on Earth. A carcinogen, a depressant, a drug that kills more people globally than all other drugs combined. And yet, it's everywhere, sold as celebration, disguised as self-expression. That's the brilliance and the cruelty of its design. The psychology is so deep, so beautifully manipulative that even when you know it's an illusion, it still feels true, the truth beneath the brand. At its core, alcohol branding isn't about selling pleasure. It's about managing perception, convincing the world that alcohol isn't the problem, people are. Convincing drinkers that control equals safety. Convincing non-drinkers that abstinence is strange. Because the moment the public starts seeing alcohol the way science does, as a neurotoxin, not a lifestyle, the entire illusion collapses. So the industry will keep spinning the same story. Drink, but drink wisely. Relax, but stay productive. Escape, but make it look classy. Because if they can keep that paradox alive, they can keep you loyal forever, seeing the spell. The truth is, alcohol branding isn't just about persuasion. It's about identity theft. It takes your fears, your hopes, your insecurities, and rebrands them as reasons to drink. It convinces you that the best version of yourself lives at the bottom of a glass, and that sobriety is absence, not presence. But once you see the machinery, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice the manipulation behind every cheers, the emptiness behind every smile, and that's the beginning of real freedom. Not from alcohol itself, but from the illusion that made it desirable in the first place. Because the darkest thing about alcohol branding isn't what it sells, it's what it steals. Your perception, your peace, and for too many, their life once you finally pull back the curtain. Once you stop playing the role they wrote for you, something incredible happens. Your body begins to heal. Your brain recalibrates. You start waking up clear, focused, and alive in ways you forgot were possible. And the changes aren't just emotional, they're biological. Because when you remove alcohol, your body doesn't just recover, it rebuilds. If you want to see exactly what happens when that process begins, what really unfolds inside your body over the first 90 days of freedom, click the video on the screen now. Because once you understand what happens after you break the illusion, you'll never look at alcohol or yourself the same way again.